The Maltese archipelago, famed for its crystal-clear Mediterranean waters, has long been a symbol of natural beauty in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. Its turquoise bays and sunlit shores have drawn visitors from around the world, offering a haven for those seeking tranquility and adventure alike. For generations, these waters have been a sanctuary for swimmers, divers, and locals alike. A place where families gather, children learn to swim, and the rhythms of daily life are intertwined with the sea. But recently, a greasy, foul-smelling substance known as sea slime has begun to invade these cherished bays, disrupting the delicate balance that has existed for centuries. This slime clings stubbornly to rocks, coats the hulls of boats, and makes swimming not just unpleasant but sometimes even unsafe. The once inviting shoreline is now met with hesitation and concern. The transformation is stark, pristine waters turning murky, and the joy of a summer swim replaced by worry. For many, the sea is no longer a source of carefree enjoyment, but a growing source of anxiety. Its arrival signals a deeper problem, one that lies just offshore where the growing presence of tuna farms has become impossible to ignore. Massive pens now fatten thousands of bluefin tuna for export, fueling a lucrative industry that stretches far beyond Malta's shores. But these operations have cast a long shadow over Malta's coastline, changing the landscape both above and below the water. The link between these farms and the spreading pollution is now undeniable, raising urgent questions about the true cost of this industry, not just in economic terms, but in the health of the sea and the people who depend on it. Once a minor nuisance, the slime now plagues Malta's most popular swimming spots, especially during the height of summer, when locals and tourists flock to the coast. It's a stark reminder that unchecked industrial activity at sea can have devastating consequences on shore, affecting not just the environment, but the very fabric of island life. The conflict between economic gain and environmental health is now impossible to ignore, sparking heated debates and calls for urgent action. Malta's marine paradise is under threat, and its people, who have always looked to the sea for sustenance and solace, are caught in the middle of a growing crisis. The story of the sea slime is more than just a local nuisance. It is a warning to us all, and a call to action to protect these azure waters before it's too late. So, what exactly is sea slime? It's a question that's been puzzling swimmers, scientists, and coastal communities alike. When you see that strange, oily film or thick foam floating on the water, you might wonder if it's just a natural occurrence or something more sinister. The truth is, sea slime isn't a single substance at all, but a toxic cocktail created by the industrial process of tuna farming. It's a byproduct of a system designed to maximize fish production, but with little regard for the surrounding environment. It starts with the feed. Huge quantities of oily mackerel and herring are dumped into the pens to fatten the tuna. Not all of it gets eaten. The leftovers dissolve, releasing fats, oils, and proteins into the water, creating a nutrient-rich soup that escapes the confines of the pens. But that's just the beginning. The tuna themselves, packed tightly together, produce vast amounts of waste, rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. In these crowded conditions, the fish also shed extra mucus, a natural response to stress and overcrowding, which adds another layer of organic material to the mix. Sometimes, fish die in the pens and are left to decompose, releasing even more nutrients and organic matter into the water. This decomposition process can be rapid in warm conditions, further intensifying the problem. All of this organic waste becomes a feast for bacteria. These microbes multiply explosively, binding together the oils, proteins, and particles into a persistent greasy slick that floats on the surface and resists breaking down. The sun and warm Mediterranean waters act as an incubator, accelerating bacterial growth and chemical reactions, making the slime even more visible and widespread. Ocean currents then carry this slick away from the farms, spreading it across the sea and into sheltered bays along the coast, where it can accumulate and linger for days or even weeks. Sometimes the slime appears as a barely there shimmering film that coats the water's surface, while at other times, it builds up into thick, white, sticky foam that clings to rocks and shorelines. No matter its form, the source is always the same: an overload of organic waste from tuna farms. The result is a floating mass that's both unsightly and harmful, smothering marine life and disrupting delicate coastal ecosystems. This isn't a natural phenomenon, but a direct consequence of industrial aquaculture practices that prioritize profit over environmental health. The sea, once a place of renewal and life, is now being transformed into a factory for pollution, with each new farm adding to the burden. The transformation is dramatic and deeply disturbing, as clear blue waters turn cloudy and foul. Malta's once pristine waters are being changed, one slick at a time, with each season bringing new waves of slime, and the effects ripple far beyond the surface, threatening not just marine life, but the livelihoods and well-being of everyone who depends on the sea. The impact of sea slime stretches far beyond ruining a day at the beach. It's quietly devastating marine life beneath the surface, often in ways we can't immediately see. This thick, suffocating layer of organic matter is a sign of deeper trouble in our seas. Sea urchins, which play a crucial role in keeping the seabed healthy by grazing on algae, have been wiped out in many polluted areas. Without them, the once vibrant underwater landscapes turn barren, stripped of life and color. Their disappearance throws the entire food web out of balance. Algae, no longer kept in check, quickly overrun the seabed, smothering other marine plants and animals in their path. The slime also blocks sunlight from reaching Neptune grass meadows, vital nurseries for countless species of fish and invertebrates. As these meadows die, the young creatures that depend on them for shelter and food are left with nowhere to go. As these habitats vanish, so do the creatures that rely on them, leading to a dramatic drop in local biodiversity. The intricate web of life that once thrived here begins to unravel. Bacterial blooms, fueled by excess waste and nutrients, consume precious oxygen in the water. This creates so-called dead zones, areas where almost nothing can survive, and the silence is haunting. While some fish may manage to escape these suffocating conditions, slower creatures like sponges and corals are left behind, unable to move, and slowly suffocate under the slime. Once vibrant waters become murky and lifeless, dominated by pollution-loving bacteria. The clear blue seas of the past are replaced by a cloudy, unhealthy world. Recovery from this kind of damage is painfully slow, if it happens at all. Some habitats may take decades or even centuries to return, and some may never fully recover. The loss isn't just ecological, it's a blow to local communities who depend on the sea for their livelihoods, and to future generations who may never know the richness that once existed here. Malta's underwater world is fading before our eyes, and the true cost, both to nature and to people, is immeasurable. Sea slime is just the most visible sign of a deeper crisis: plummeting water quality. Excess nutrients from fish waste and feed trigger massive blooms of algae and bacteria, turning clear water murky and green. Sunlight can't reach the seabed, devastating seagrass and disrupting fish behavior. Bacterial decomposition consumes oxygen, creating hypoxic dead zones, especially deadly in warm summer months. Chemicals and medicines used in tuna farming can also leach into the sea, with unknown long-term effects. The water becomes a chemical cocktail, no longer the natural habitat it once was. For people, the risks are real. Skin irritations, infections, and health warnings have become common. Malta's treasured bays are now sometimes off-limits, a tragic shift for an island defined by its relationship with the sea. The balance has tipped, nature is paying the price. The question is, can it be restored? Under mounting pressure, Malta's tuna industry has promised reform. Producers have pledged to invest in waste processing plants, aiming to turn offal and blood into useful byproducts instead of dumping them at sea. They're also improving feeding practices and considering moving farms further offshore to disperse waste. New monitoring systems are being introduced to reduce uneaten feed. Yet, critics argue these steps are overdue and may not address the root problem: the sheer scale of operations. Many remain skeptical, insisting that only real, visible change, cleaner bays, will prove the industry's commitment. For now, the promises are just that: promises. For coastal communities, the sea slime crisis is personal. Residents have lost beloved swimming spots and endure the stench of decay that invades homes and businesses. Local fishermen struggle with dwindling catches and fouled nets, while seaside restaurants lose customers. Many feel abandoned by authorities, suspecting political ties shield the industry from accountability. Frustration has sparked protests, action groups, and viral images of pollution. The demand is simple, responsible, sustainable management, not a shutdown, but a clean sea. The fight is about more than water. It's about community, heritage, and the right to a healthy environment. Malta's people want their sea back. The tuna industry is a powerhouse in Malta's economy, generating millions in exports and providing hundreds of jobs. Its reach extends beyond the farms, supporting boat maintenance, logistics and more. In a resource-limited nation, this economic engine is hard to ignore. The government benefits from export revenue and taxes, making the industry a national asset. But this financial clout gives the industry influence, often resisting stricter regulations. The government faces a tough choice: protect a lucrative sector or safeguard Malta's natural heritage. The debate is fierce and the stakes are high. The solution is anything but simple. Malta's tuna farms embody the classic clash between economic growth and environmental protection. On one side, jobs, exports, and prosperity. On the other, polluted bays, lost biodiversity, and damaged communities. For years, profit has outweighed environmental costs, creating a debt that future generations will pay. The benefits are concentrated, but the damage is shared by all. This imbalance can't last. True progress means measuring success by both financial and environmental health. The challenge? Can Malta find a way for its economy and its seas to thrive together? The answer will define the nation's future. Malta's future depends on bold action. Business as usual is no longer an option. The industry must embrace real sustainability, not just gestures. Enforce the polluter pays principle, make the industry fully responsible for its waste. Invest in top-tier waste treatment and transparent independent water monitoring. Regulations must have teeth, with real penalties for polluters. Innovation is key, from alternative feeds to integrated aquaculture and land-based systems. The goal is regeneration, not just damage control. This requires leadership from industry, courage from politicians, and vigilance from citizens. Malta's Azure waters are a shared treasure and a shared responsibility. Only by working together can the islands protect their seas for generations to come. The choice is clear: protect the sea, or lose what makes Malta unique. The time to act is now.